Hello everyone, welcome to this short standing practice. We're going to do some warrior movements. So let's find our mountain pose. That's standing in a place where we're stable. So you could have your legs together or you could have them further apart, whatever makes you feel the most balanced. And you might not be 100% balanced, but makes you feel as stable as you can be. Engage your butt muscles. Engage your core muscles and have your hands down by your sides, and we'll take a breath. I'm standing at the short end of my mat, and that way I can take a step back and still be on the mat. So I'm going to take a step back with my right foot. And you can choose how far you want your feet apart from one another. You can also choose, do you want your feet in line with one another, or do you want to take a step out to make yourself a little more balanced? Your back foot is not parallel with the back of the mat. It's on this 45-degree angle. So I think about sticking my heel out a little bit. And then I bend into my front knee. So here, and then we can turn our hips. And you might notice that it feels like your hips are going out in two different directions. That's good. Don't worry about it. So we'll lean forward. Maybe we want to have our hands at our heart. We'll take a breath. We could raise our hands up towards the sky. Option to bring them behind our head for a little bit of a back bend. Leaning into that front bent knee. Then coming up for a neutral spine. We could lower our hands down. It's the same arm in front as the leg that's in front. So this is my left arm, my left leg, looking over those front hands. Taking a breath. We could flip that palm up towards the ceiling. Raising it up above your head. Option to lower that other arm back behind you and you can look up. Again, thinking about that front leg being bent. Can you bend into it anymore? Then coming back, taking a breath. And we can come onto that front forearm, bringing it down to our front bent leg, raising the other one up towards the sky. Option to look up. Breathing. And here, maybe we want to lower that hand down and bring our hands to either side of that front foot. I like to push my belly to the inside because it gets stuck. If you have blocks, you could hold blocks. If not, you could hold your leg. Taking a breath here, thinking about your hips coming up and back. So pushing your hips up. It's like you can't see it. It's not much of a movement, but we're pushing our hips back and that straightens our front leg. How does it feel with your front leg straight? It's burning. My leg is burning. What about yours? And here we could bend into that knee again. So now maybe pushing your belly back to the inside. Slowly raising up, bring our arms back up. Taking a breath. We can turn our toes to face forward. Taking a breath here. Maybe you want to hinge forward at the hips. Coming down for a forward fold, we could bring our belly through our legs and we'll reach down towards the ground. We don't have to touch the ground. We can let our hands dangle. We can hold our feet. If you have blocks within reach, you can grab them. You could also hold your elbows or your forearms and dangle here. Taking a breath, and then we'll slowly raise ourselves back up to standing. Take a second, we can bring our feet in. We're back in our mountain pose, balancing, engaging our butt and our core. Taking a breath, and then shake that out. So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side of the body. So you can just use your opposite leg and face that way. I'm going to come over to this side of my mat. The reason I'm going to do that is just so I still face you and you're not just looking at my back. So I'm going to bring my blocks back. Again, you don't need blocks, but you can use them if you want. We come to find our mountain pose, standing in that stable shape. Maybe you want to take a step back with our back foot leaning into that front leg. Turning those hips. Raising those arms up. Option for that back bend, bringing the hands behind your back or having a more straight spine. Leaning into that front bent knee. Taking a breath. And then we can lower our hands down into that warrior two. So that front arm is the same side as the front leg. Looking over those front fingertips, taking a breath. Option to flip that front palm, raising it up as you lower that back arm down. You look up towards that hand. Again, thinking about bending into that front knee. And then coming back to the warrior two. Taking a breath. And then we can bring that front forearm, bring it down to that thigh, raise that hand up and take a breath here. And then from here, maybe we want to fold that arm down. We'll bring our hands down to either side of that front foot. And if your belly's stuck, push it into the inside of the leg. You can bring your hands down towards the ground. You can bring them onto your leg. You can bring them onto blocks. Whatever you're doing, you're leaning into that front bent knee. And then maybe you want to think about bringing those hips back. So for my fronties bent, then I bring my hips back, my front leg straightens a little bit. Notice how that feels. Taking a breath here. Does it feel different than when your leg's bent? For me, it certainly does. And you can bend back into it. Maybe now we want to move our feet and our toes to come back to the front, alongside of your mat. If you have blocks, you can move them with you like you did, like I did, or you can have your hands on the ground or on your legs. And we're looking down. Maybe you want to lean into one leg, like bend one leg and lean that way. That'll straighten the opposite leg. And then you can do the same thing on the other side, alternating, breathing, and then we come to center. Just bend the knees, slowly bring our bodies up. Bring your legs in together. Take a second. Maybe we want to raise our hands up towards the sky. Inhaling up and then lowering them down. Doing this a few times. We could take one foot. I'm going to start with my right foot. I'm going to take a step behind me. But so my right foot is facing out to the side of the mat. My other foot is facing forward. And then I'm going to raise my hands up for a back bend. Breathing here. And then coming back down. We'll do that same thing on the other side. So taking a step back with that other foot, my one foot's facing the side of the mat, the one foot's facing forward. We can raise our hands up, taking a breath. Option for that back bend, or you can be a little more straight. And then coming back to center. Maybe we want to take our legs really wide. Think about our pelvis going back and forward. So our butt sticking out the back and then forward. Maybe think about our hips from side to side. And we could do a little circle, pelvis forward, hip side, pelvis back, hip side. Doing a few in one direction. And then we'll do a few in the opposite direction. And then we'll come back to center. Maybe you want to bring your feet back in. Taking a breath here, maybe raising our hands up, inhaling them up, exhaling them down. Inhale up, exhale down. Thank you so much for this practice. I hope you enjoyed exploring warrior poses and follow along for more plus size yoga videos. Thank you.